morning, everyone, and welcome to your Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name's Susanne. I'm the music director, and I'm here broadcasting from Eastminster's beautiful sanctuary this morning. And I have your announcements for the coming week. On October 21st, conscious movement classes are happening Wednesday morning from 10:15 to 11:30. Phyllis Danu offers these classes. You can contact her by email to get the Zoom link and for more information. Also on Wednesday in the evening from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m., Rev Wayne and Jillian continue our weekly meditation for beginners and intermediates. Today, the Halloween Con registration is happening for youth ages 12 to 19 and advisors. It's a one-day event. You can talk to Zach for more info. On Tuesday this week, the C meeting is happening. That's the Social and Environmental Action Committee at 4 p.m. this Tuesday. How can we best act with our new partners? This fall, UU Kids Connect is a free online intercongregational program for elementary and middle grade youth. The email address for more info will be sent out in the Monday mailing. On November 21st, our annual silent auction fundraiser will be happening online. That's a Saturday at 7 p.m. called Together While Apart. Save the date to find out just how much fun an online auction can really be. The COVID-19 app, are you using it yet? If not, please do. The app is free. You can download it from the Apple Store or get it on Google Play. Don't worry about your privacy. It is protected. It has no way of knowing your contact or health info, but it will notify you if you have been near someone who tested positive in the last 14 days. Together, we can take action to limit the spread of COVID-19, so please get the app. Thank you to Deb Bertizan. Please join us after service next week for a joyful gathering to say thank you to Deb for all the hard work she put into the LL program this past year. This celebration will happen immediately following service in place of breakout rooms. Grab a snack and a beverage and come join us for some fellowship. Spirit Choir Song Circle is happening a week from Monday. Join the Spirit Choir as we examine our monthly theme, the theme for October being In Between, through song. Join us with a song or just come to sing along. That's next Monday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. So you know, all of our Zoom addresses are sent out in our Monday mailing. If you're not yet on our mailing list, please send a note to office@nuuc.ca to be added. Next Sunday, our theme is Can You Learn and Practice Trust? The message will be provided by our minister, Rev Wayne Walder, and I believe I will be doing the music.
Welcome to our Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation service on Zoom. We welcome you here as we stay emotionally and spiritually close at this time when we need to stay physically apart. My name is Dave Renzetti, and I will be your virtual service leader this morning from home. Our music director, Susanne Maziarz, and our minister is the Reverend Wayne Walder. Zach Getchell facilitates our Sunday child and caregiver program and will share a time for all ages from his home today. We also have Ruth Langtree and Gordon Thorne who are doing the web hosting duties. Thank you to all of them. Some Zoom etiquette. Just remember to stay muted, keep chat open for readings and lyrics, and don't send chat messages to everyone during service. This service is being recorded for the both public and on YouTube and on our new website. Joys and concerns or similar personal moments will be edited out. If you have privacy concerns, please turn off your camera and rename yourself. Sacred space and cyberspace are strange bedfellows, and we need your help to bring them together. Now, we have nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. Shut off all your other apps that might distract you, or put your devices on Do Not Disturb and be present. This is our threshold moment. This is our liminal space between who you are that enters this service and the slightly different person you will be when our service is over. Let's enter sacred space now. Let our service begin now. As we light our chalice, I encourage you to light your own personal chalice or candle, or considering holding your hands in the shape of a chalice. I ask Gordon to light our chalice as we sing our chalice lighting song.
We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts.
And now I ask Susanne to introduce our musical prelude.
Good morning, everyone. Early on in the pandemic, our choir, the Spirit Choir, and the choir at East End United wanted to find ways that we could collaborate even though we couldn't actually be together. So we found some common ground, a hymn that is in both the United Church hymnal as well as the UU hymnal, My Life Flows On in Endless Song, and we made a joint choir recording to share with you. I hope you enjoy the video.
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far of him, that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars? I know the truth it liveth. What though the darkness round me close? Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cells and dungeon vile, our thoughts to hell are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing?
Thank you. That was wonderful. Good morning and welcome. Today, almost all of us are in our homes in isolation. Let us remember that these homes are on the traditional land and territories of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Mississauga, the Haudenosaunee, and the Ojibwe Chippewa nations. Indigenous people have been acknowledging the land at the start of their gatherings and ceremonies and events for time immemorial. We acknowledge the enduring presence and resilience of Indigenous people, and we remind ourselves that we are all accountable to these relationships. If you are visiting us for the first time, we welcome you. Please stay around after service when you'll have a chance to talk to the members of our community about who we are and what we do. Our mission here at Neighbourhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of the world. Our theme for today is our new liminal lives, the silver lining. During the pandemic, after I finished renovating everything in my house, and after the boredom and after the frustration, I answered a poster on a telephone pole in my neighborhood. It asked for people to help deliver and shop, get groceries to some seniors. Seniors were differentially affected at the beginning of the crisis, and they really did not feel comfortable leaving their home. Well, a few weeks later, this commitment evolved into me becoming the bread guy. And 7 days a week, I would pick up a few hundred loaves of bread from Italy on Bloor Street and deliver them to shelters and food banks around downtown Toronto. It was a very satisfying and a very humbling experience. Every day I had a moment when I paused, and I often cried, and I thought, there but by the grace of God go I. For today's readings, I've chosen these words by Richard Rohr. Liminal spaces. It is when we are betwixt and between, have left one room, but not entered the next. Any hiatus between stages of lives, stages of faith, jobs, loves, or relationships. It is that graced time when we are not certain or in control, when something genuinely new can happen. Much of the work of the biblical God and human destiny itself is to get people into liminal space and to keep them there long enough to learn something essential and genuinely new. It is the ultimate teachable space. Traditionally at this time in service, we ask you to turn to your neighbor and greet them. What we do here now is we will ask you all to briefly unmute your devices and offer a greeting to those around you. We will sound a chime at the end. Now, please take a moment to greet your neighbors.
Hi, Brenda. Hi,
Good
Morning.
morning.
Good to see you.
Hi,
Hi there, Barbara. Hi,
Good to great
Barbara.
job, baby.
On show today.
Doing well.
Good Karen.
Hi, Susanne.
Hi,
Air.
Jesse.
Barbara.
My dog.
Henry's here.
Hi, Doug.
Morning, Susanne.
Dave and Jillian.
Okay.
Hi, Barbara.
John.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Kim. Oh,
Hey there, Faith.
Erin.
Good to see you, Faith.
Lauren.
Hey, Andrew.
Stuart.
Good to
No.
see you. Time to.
Now I invite you to join me in reading our opening words, which will now appear on your screen. If you're on a phone, follow my words and memory will help fill in the rest. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here, a space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life. A life of graciousness, a life of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. Now, as we hold this place open to grace and insight, please join Susanne in our opening song. Susanne?
Yes. So for this morning's opening song, we're going to repeat the song that Allison led you in last week by UU minister Reverend Wendy Luella Perkins. Wendy Luella lives in Kingston, Ontario, and she has a community practice called Soulful Singing that she does with members of the community, as well as leading songs as a chaplain at Queen's University. She wrote this song early on in the pandemic, and it has become kind of a mantra for me. I keep singing it almost every day, I think. And so I wanted to repeat it this week because maybe it will become a mantra for you through the winter when it's harder to get outside and see each other. So this is a zipper song. I invite you to add your idea into the chat. I'm looking for a 1 or 2 syllable word for feel the healing power of the blank, this blank that comes in through your window in the morning to give you hope and to give you strength. I'm going to start off by leading it with the word breeze. And I invite you, as you are so moved, to add your word into the chat, and I'll sing your words as I see them appear. So I'm just going to go for it. Join me when you're able. I'm not going to teach it because we learned it last week. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Feel the healing power of the breeze in the morning. Feel the healing power of the breeze in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Sun, feel the healing power of the sun in the morning. Feel the healing power of the sun in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Feel the healing power of the trees in the morning. Feel the healing power of the trees in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Feel the healing power of grace in the morning. Feel the healing power of grace in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Feel the healing power of service in the morning. Feel the healing power of service in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Feel the healing power of love in the morning. Feel the healing power of love in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Feel the healing power of the birds in the morning. Feel the healing power of the birds in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Feel the healing power of hope in the morning. Feel the healing power of hope in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Feel the healing power of prayer in the morning. Feel the healing power of prayer in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. If you can't go outside, open up a window in the morning. Thank you, everyone.
Now, all the young and young at heart, please come up and get close to your screen because Zach is going to present the time for all ages. Zach?
Good morning, everyone. So today we're talking about something called liminal space, which is the space in between things. It's the space where we learn and grow and change. Now, liminal space isn't something that I actually understand in words, so I'd like to do something a little bit differently this week. I'd like for you all, please, to close your eyes and come with me on a journey through a liminal space. The sun shines bright and warm on your back as you look up at the large bush in front of you. It's a beautiful summer day, and you can feel your little tummy rumbling hungrily. You start to bunch your little legs up and begin crawling towards the bush, inching your fuzzy green caterpillar body slowly forwards. As you climb up a branch of the bush, the breeze starts to blow, and you and the branch start to sway. The breeze is gentle, and your caterpillar legs are strong. You aren't slowed down by the light swaying at all, and you soon make it to a juicy green leaf, even bigger than you are. After you've eaten the leaf, you rest on the branch for a while. You are full from your meal and warm from the sun. Life is good. Suddenly, something changes. You're not sure what, and you're not sure how, but you know something is different. As it always is, the change is a little scary. So you start to spin a web of super strong thread around yourself to protect you. You make it just big enough to be comfortable, and there you sit and wait. And at first, you still feel the fear of the change. But as you sit in your cocoon, eventually it gets warmed by the sun too. It becomes comfortable. This is the liminal space. As you wait in your safe cocoon, you know what you need to change, to grow. And by the time you start thinking about it, it's already started. The changing, the growing is happening. You know it's happening now, and it's exciting. You don't know when it's going to end, but you know that when it does, you'll be ready for it because of what you've learned. You long to see the sky and feel the sun on your back again, rather than just through your cocoon. You're ready now. You start to wriggle and squirm with excitement. A line of light breaks through the warm darkness of the cocoon. It grows and spreads until eventually the whole thing breaks and falls away from you, off the branch and to the floor. You rest on the branch for a minute, loving the feel of the breeze as the branch sways. You feel the warmth of the sun, no longer blocked, warming and drying your beautiful, slowly flapping wings. Your time in the liminal space is over, your transformation complete. You push off the branch, a beautiful butterfly rising into the air. As you flutter towards the sunrise, you spare a grateful thought for your cocoon, glad that it was there to keep you safe while you grew, before going eagerly to meet the new day. You can now open your eyes and come back at your own speed. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for that, Zach. This is a time in our service when we invite you to light a virtual candle for a joy or concern in your life. Open your participants window and raise a virtual hand if you have a joy or concern. If you are here on a phone without a screen, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. To speak, you have to unmute yourself. And once you've spoken, please remute yourself. Please respect the sacredness of the ritual and refrain from making announcements and stories. This is a cherished time in our community that brings us closer in a time that we are separating. Today, I would like to add a little grounding exercise to our joys and concerns. Could I ask you to start by saying in a very few words where you are physically right now, and in a word or two, describe how you feel emotionally. For example, I am in my home on Ossington Avenue in Toronto. I am actually feeling very thankful. And my joy today is being part of this deepening community. Okay, so then I would like to light a few further candles. We light this candle in gratitude for all the volunteer efforts, seen and unseen, that help keep this community together. And we light our final candle to represent all the joys and concerns which remain unspoken in our hearts. I will now call on our minister, and he will lead us in meditation or prayer. Wayne will then lead a healing ritual, and he'll explain how we're going to do that a little bit differently today. And then we'll hear his message of inspiration. Wayne?
Hello, everyone. I wonder if we could consider doing a meditation, very simple, and we'll move that meditation right into the healing ritual. And maybe as we do it, you can just rest. You might close your eyes and feel your breath. And just let it deepen in you. You know, often people think that this is really the end result of meditation. But this is just the practice. So that we can see differently or feel differently, like Doug said. so that we can have a heart open enough to send prayers. Or so we can acknowledge our own understandings. So breathe. Sometimes after a while, you'll notice something in your body or a thought that comes to mind, and be gentle with them. And stay in the quiet. Now, as we move closer to the healing ritual, notice that in this quiet, that there is a space for healing. Maybe it's healing of something inside you. Maybe it's a healing for a loved one. Maybe it's a healing for something that happened. You know, in our healing, we can't cure anyone. But it's my opinion, we can heal everyone. In this healing ritual that Susanne and I have put together, you'll hear her singing. And I wonder if in the chat you can put the name of someone or something that you feel needs to be healed. And as you feel it, you can reach a hand on your heart in a soft way, and then reach a hand out, offering to give your healing, taking in and giving out to a dear friend with cancer, or my brother Alex, for my sister Michelle, for Brad and Linda Lodow, for my sister Chris, for Lena, for Dina, for Courtney, for Andrew and Isabel, for Paul and Helen, for Barb, for Brad and Faith, my son who's a bit lost, and my sister Kathy and her unforgiving rage, for Glenn, my brother, for Luann, for Brad, for you and you and you, for my beloved and for the blessings of this world, for the earth and for my family, for Aaron and Lauren and Liam, and for my feuding family, for darling Emma, for you who are isolated, and for you that are sad, for my brother Jamie, for our beloved community, and for dearest Alan, for you, and you, and you, all healers, and business owners who are struggling, for those of you who feel completely bereft, for a little girl who's battling cancer, and for Hadar, Teresa, for the conflict in our community, and for COVID across our world. You know, I offer you a blessing, not from any power that I have, but for the power that you offer from life itself and from the depths of your own hearts and souls. Bless you that you may be healed amid the stars and the trees and the earth and the sky. Bless you so that you can bless others. Thank you, Susanne, and thank all of you. You know, last week I spoke about the danger we are having during COVID. Not only are we afraid of COVID, the illness, but we also fear what COVID is doing to our culture. Some of us have lost loved ones. We have lost money and jobs. We've lost innocence and friendship and intimacy. We're alone. I was blunt last week, and I wanted to be, so that we would remember there's more than fear for many of us in this COVID time. I hope this acknowledgement of our grief would help us punctuate the loss, because after a loss, there's almost always, thank God, a new beginning. But beginning again does not mean happiness, I don't think, in the COVID time. Happiness is a state of mind where everything is all right, and heaven knows everything is not all right. Happiness is something we strive for in the trajectory of a human life. But at times like these, it's best to seek something a little more accessible. And perhaps joy is more accessible at a time like this. I know that might sound silly, but joy is different from happiness. I like to think of joy as a fleeting, sensual, and it offers us a surprise or a delight we were not expecting. Often we discount joy because it is fleeting or can be considered childish. But since happiness might be an unrealistic goal right now, joy might be a wonderful alternative. And I believe it can double as a spiritual practice. You see, you can choose to be open to joy. And then joy allows us to connect with life in a spontaneous way, in a sensual way, in a surprising way. Joy makes us smile, even if it's only for a second. And in that second, we can feel alive, and we're reminded that we belong in this world. We belong of this world. We are this world. Let me show you. Joy occurs when you see a child smile and offer themselves with abandon to the life around them. Joy is opening our arms to life and trying to catch it, even though we know it can't be caught. Silliness is not only a simplistic emotion or reaction, but a beautiful one that can shake us out of our sadness or loneliness. When you see bubbles, do you smile? I know that sometimes our adult armor shields us from feeling joy, just as it shields us from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. But if we keep just a bit of our awareness open to joy, well, this is akin to keeping a bit of our heart open for love. There's no economic value to joy, and you can't put it in your pocket. But for a moment, joy can make you feel that life is yours, and you're in life. The temporary nature doesn't make it worthless, it makes it sacred. It makes it special. It's a momentary grace, a surprise, and it can happen when you're not even looking for it. You can be completely unaware and suddenly be surprised the scene your eyes fall upon. Joan and I were walking in the woods, and suddenly it hit us both at the same time. We were looking down, avoiding the mud, when we realized we were also looking up. In the puddle, we saw leaves, reflection of the puddle. We both commented that the beauty we were experiencing at the same time was the sky by looking at the ground. Sometimes when we let life into us, when we keep a small window open to joy or spontaneity or surprise, life shows us the silly and incongruous. These shoes would never have appeared to me as temple shoes, yet there they were outside the temple, sporting pointy toes and slingback heels. I never met the woman who wore them, but I wish I had. And maybe as she was putting on her dancing shoes, we would have laughed at our assumptions and known we are always more than what we look like or what we think. Last week, I asked everyone or anyone at our service to send me a story or a thought about COVID influenced them in a good way. I was secretly asking everyone to share how a joy can be a balance to the sadness of COVID. I was asking you to do a spiritual practice. And thankfully, several people wrote to me. 2 more came in from Rose and Margot that I'll use in a sermon another time as I catch these leaves. To be honest, joy, but I was delighted to find so many of you that did. Susan Croft writes, the boredom of staying home led me to the much avoided job of sorting the contents of overstuffed drawers. This is when I found my collection of old 8mm video cassettes. This is when I re-experienced the joy of re-seeing wonderful memories, deciding to edit the raw footage and moving into an online format. Editing will result in movie projects I will be able to share conveniently over the internet with the cast of award-winning actors so loved by me. Jennifer Good wrote, COVID has encouraged me to continue on a path to unapologetically claim the spiritual. Indeed, COVID feels somewhat like an opportunity to spiritually come out and be present with what I believe about the world, that it's a fundamentally spiritual place. I was reminded that the Haudenosaunee believe the spiritual world is not distant from the earth, but part of our existence, and the Creator does not live in far distant heaven, but here with us. When we seek joy in the smallest of ways, we often realize it's right next to us. They're all the time waiting, like the socks in the drawer or the feeling inside. It's just around the bend. Sometimes we look up and see the rainbow. It comes unbidden, surprising us. We did nothing, and there it is, a gift. This joy is part of the fleeting nature of the colors after the storm, whatever the storm. The sun comes out, the light changes, we wonder, we go out, and there. I have seen people almost drive off the road, craning their necks to look at a rainbow. We watch those colors until they're gone, and then we smile. Have you ever asked what your smile in the moment means? Lauren Renzetti wrote, I started to play guitar again after 24 years, fixed all those small cracks in the walls that bugged me, and made 147 dinners with my family and nephew. We reconnected and did silly games and argued about politics and laughed about politics. I decided to help spread the need for mask wear and made 500, gave them away on my front lawn and mailed them to people. When I went back to work part-time, I realized that I really do love the work, but I don't need to be so busy with it. And any work I do, I am more discerning of now. Bita wrote, the things that bring me joy and that I'm eternally grateful for are things like being able to get outside, especially on a day like today, to see and be amongst nature. The Rosetta McLean Gardens is a favorite spot of mine because they have cement walkways that I can maneuver and be amongst all their beautiful gardens. And this one from Daintree. At the beginning of the pandemic, families put up all sorts of colorful artwork and handmade signs in their front doors and windows, reminders to stay safe and wash your hands. Today, as I was trying to get a walk in before the forecasted rain later the afternoon, I saw a massive hand-painted sign taped to the full length of someone's front door that simply said, "Can do things." We can. Can there be beauty even when the roof of the world sinks low and traps you between the earth and sky? Even when we're trapped between worlds, I believe we can feel that we are the breath of life, the in and out of nature, the canvas of a creator. And in our seeing and feeling and touching and hearing and tasting, we know that life is of us and in us. You know, it's no big deal. And yet it's the biggest deal of all, because if we notice a moment of joy or delight or surprise, whatever you call it, if we see things in a different and more human way, it's our common humanity. And we can see the goodness in all the others of the world. I spoke at the Parliament of World Religions about the camaraderie of religious professionals pushing a good world together. For a moment, sometimes with family and friends, we can push the world together. Peter wrote, every year from 1880 on, the Marmorick family has gotten together to celebrate, usually between 50 and 70 people. This year it became clear that wasn't going to happen. We've missed years before, but that was during World War II. What could we do now? Two of the family offered to host a Zoom conference instead. One of them had experience running Zoom meetings for some Unitarian cult up in Toronto. 3 rounds of breakout rooms, a family history video, a sing-along. There were 4 sessions, a plenary, a millennial late night party, a boomer breakfast, and a walkthrough of Cousin Adrian's New York art show. We had 91 people, best ever. The branches in Australia and in Bogota attended, and they usually don't because of the distance. It was a huge success. We decided we will always have a Zoom room at future meetings. We can have a 24/7, 365 Zoom meeting for family to drop in, and marmorick.com has been created. It's a single site that curates over 150 years of photos, stories, videos, biographies of family members. Rather than pushing us apart, the pandemic pushed us to come together in deep and profound ways we had never previously reached. Joy. It can happen in a second, you know. The moment before it was not there, and then there. A child moves, the timing is right, we're engaged with the world, we're part of the fabric, the colors fill us. She sees us and we see her. She reaches out and we feel life reaching out. We reach back. And in the exchange of touch, we are woken, saved. A moment offers joy and we choose, or not, to take it. We can often choose no matter what the conditions. Michelle Lalonde writes, one thing has come to mind in COVID. It's about being okay with the life I'm in, not wanting or waiting for something, just feeling that this is where our world is. I don't mean to say I'm okay with all the awful things going on, because I am not. But I think that life has a way of showing us lessons all the time. And just being awake to notice is so important. So much of the fear of missing out has got in the way. Slowing down and having such a narrow focus to my days has started to have an effect. And I guess that may be surrender or acceptance. It was a lifestyle shift. And that will likely mean in the future for me, after COVID, I will take in more of life as it happens and not live in the future. My hope is it will translate into my contributing to the care of the world in meaningful ways. You know, feeling the rain, you might look up and see the rain, each white drop speeding toward only your face, touching only your hands, wetting only your shirt. It is a moment to look and be cleansed by the rain, by the spirit of the rain. Then you are not apart from the rain, but rather you are in the space of a human being with the rain on you, in you. And something you cannot even articulate touches you. Religious writer and colleague Frederick Buechner writes, a wedding, a handshake, a kiss, a parade, a coronation, a dance, a meal, a graduation, a mass. A ritual is the performance of an intuition, the rehearsal of a dream, the playing of a game. Silly. But in there, a sacrament is the breaking through of the sacred into the profane. A ritual is the ceremony acting out of the profane in order to show forth its sacredness. It's God or the universe offering holiness to us. And the ritual is when we raise up the holiness of our humanity to God, to life. It is what I hope we do when we create our rituals at Neighborhood, or alternatively, even in this space. I hope we raise our humanity to life, to the sacred in each of us. We try rituals, and with your help and your sincerity, we can actually create the sacred around us. You see, besides making our life work, we can also make our life joyful. When we know it is okay to do that, when we know it's ours to claim, being childish doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. While being childish can embarrass us, grace in the form of joy can save us from falling out of love with life, probably one of our most debilitating diseases. Joy keeps us in love. It can be like working a muscle, to be open to the temple shoes, to the crooked smile, to the mud puddle, the rainbow, the stuffed drawer. We see more of them, and joy becomes a regular interlude in the lives of ourselves and the people around us. Joy strengthens the temporary beauty, the sweet savory taste, heartache resting, warmth of our own hands, sound of the wind. We are the arbiters of joy. Anna Di Felice writes, I'm reflecting on my consumerism, definitely shopping less, saving more. I'm cooking more creatively and healthily. Ordering is now a treat, free time, more biking, opportunities for engaging in conversation about how we sustain ourselves through this. How do we support others through this? How do we do life now? This sucks. And are you afraid? I am. And opportunities to grieve alone and with others. There's something strengthening in this. It only takes a second, you know. The rockets go off and then colors come out and we look and smile. It only lasts a second, and we needn't want it for any longer. Because as we practice looking for joy, even out of the corner of our eye, we can find there is another and another joy. Not as splashy, maybe not as deep, but you know that. You know, if you think about it, it doesn't sound childish at all. Neurotheology is the rage now of how we might set the conditions in our life for enlightenment. It is as simple as building your life with an openness for joy. And even when the temporary nature of joy disappears, or even disappoints you, maybe it does so because it's reminding us that our lives are as temporary in some ways as any joy. And even that has a goodness. Your stories prove it. Blessings to you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for those words, Wayne. It's now time for our offering. In these times of isolation, let's not forget that this congregation is a living entity. And like all living things, it must have nurture and sustenance. If you contributed by pre-authorized withdrawals, thank you. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it. And let's not forget, we come here because we love this place and it helps us deepen. We can't pass the basket, but for those of you who do make contributions to the basket each week, please consider writing a check or making an e-transfer, which is the most cost-effective way to give. Consider even setting up a reoccurring gift. A link is in your chat window now, and all you need to do is click on it, and it will take you to our donations page. You can do that now, and we will pause, and Susanne will play.
For all that is alive, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad.
Thank you. Thank you for your sharing. Generosity makes us rich. Now, Susanne, will you lead us in our final song?
Yes, I will, Dave. Thank you for asking. We're going to sing all 4 verses of the offering song that I just played for you, For All That Is Our Life. For choristers, if you have your hymnal there, it's number 128, but the words will be in the chat if to follow along. For all that is alive, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad.
Thank you for that, Susanne. I ask Gordon to extinguish our chalice as we sing the chalice extinguishing song.
Although our chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts.
We have a tradition here at Neighborhood where traditionally we would circle around and hold each other's hands at the end of service. Instead, let us all say namaste, which means I salute the spirit within you. Congregation of Neighborhood, namaste. Today I leave you with the words from Zachary Kelly. Once you have been in the darkness, you learn to appreciate everything that shines. Our service has now ended. Thank you. For those of you who do not wish to join a breakout room, thank you for joining us today. Everyone else who remains here will be assigned to a breakout room. Today's question to perhaps consider beginning the conversation is, what has been your silver lining during these challenging times? Breakout rooms will begin shortly. Go in peace.